That's your 3 o'clock shuffle for this Monday afternoon. I'm Brad Cresswell. Thank you for joining me today here on FM 91. Well, as promised, I have singers here from Toledo Opera's production of Vanessa. That is happening this weekend at the Valentine Theater. Performances are Friday night at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock p.m. You can get your tickets by going to the website, toledoopera.org, or giving them a call, 419-255-SING. That's 7464. We're joined today by soprano Jennifer Rowley, who performs the title role of Vanessa, also by mezzo-soprano Christine Amon, who performs the role of Erica. We have the stage director, Kristine McIntyre, here, and of course our intrepid staff pianist, Kevin Bylsma, who you were just here a week ago, Kevin. So,
it seems like yesterday, Brad.
Yeah, it seems like yesterday. So welcome to all of you, by the way.
Thank you.
And before we get started, I have a confession to make. As some of you know, I used to be a singer. I actually sang the role of Anatole back in 2000, I believe. It was at Da Capo Opera in New York.
Oh.
And I cannot remember this opera to save my life. So you're going to have to help me along here.
We our job to remind you.
We're going to hear a couple of arias performed live in the studio, but let's set things up first. And maybe I'll go to you, Christine, and ask you, just give us an idea. What is Vanessa? What is Vanessa about?
Vanessa's about what happens when unalloyed romanticism hits hard reality.
I'm sorry, say that again.
It's what happens when you have this romantic idea. You're in love with the idea of being in love, and then reality happens. You know, Menotti said that love is about compromise, and I think that that's a great way of thinking about the story of Vanessa, this woman who's been waiting for 20 years for this man to come back to her, and instead it's his son that comes back, and everything goes awry from then.
Yeah. Well, it has this kind of Gothic sensibility to it. I mean, we know that the librettist Menotti was interested in those
the seven Gothic tales of Isaac Dinesen, from which I think they took mostly the atmosphere. There are not any plot points that they borrowed.
Well, there's a legendary story that she showed up at the premiere and ran out halfway through.
Because she didn't
never to be
didn't
seen
like
again.
It. Yes, indeed. Indeed. Yeah. But what it shares with the Gothic is this kind of atmosphere, this sort of sense of these women locked in this house and bad family secrets that tie them all together. Yeah. And this sense of generational conflict, which is very common in the Gothic as well, that you have these three generations. The Baroness, who is Vanessa's mother, who will not speak to her because of something that happened 20 years before. Vanessa, and then Erica, who is, we are told, Vanessa's niece, who may well be Vanessa's daughter, actually. And the fact that they both then fall in love with the same man. So you have this conflict that's kind of brilliantly set up with this Gothic sense. And, it's an opera that takes place entirely in winter. So there's very much the sense of a cold and cruel world outside that doesn't care about the heartbreak of these women.
There's a lot of symbolism that goes on that's reflected in the music as well. Now, you have a long-time association with the Metropolitan Opera, and you've done a lot of contemporary works. Is this the first time you've done Vanessa?
Yeah, it's not a piece that people do very much. There aren't many opportunities to do it, so I was anxious to add it to my collection of American operas, if you will. And it's a great piece to do because it's an influential American piece, but feels very much like a European piece as well. So.
Right. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that neither of you two ladies have done these roles before on stage, right?
Never before.
So, Jennifer, this is a first for you.
Uh-huh.
The role of Vanessa. It's quite a role, is it not?
It's quite a role.
Tell us about it.
Quite a thing. Well, I mean, not only is it insanely difficult musically and vocally, I mean, you really have to learn it well in order to sing it, because it's really it sits high and it's big and the orchestration is big. And you don't want to kill yourself in Act 1. You want to be fresh for Act 3. So that there's that side of it. But also she's a difficult character. She's a woman like everyone else, but she's a 40-year-old woman whose heart was broken 20 years earlier, who perhaps that could have been her first real love. And so if we all think back to our first real love and how awful it felt when you had that breakup, when that person left your life, there's a mourning period. And unfortunately, this woman's been going through this mourning period for 20 years. And she's been waiting for her lover to return to her. And, there's a question of mental stability. There's a question of what has gone on in this house prior to her relationship with this man. There's all these questions about who she is and why she became the way she became. Why did she lock all these women in the house? Why did she refuse to have visitors? And there's this real sense of heartbreak and this real sense of longing and desperation to have that love back again.
Well, on the surface also, I think many people look at Vanessa within the context of the opera and they think, how could she be duped into thinking that this young guy is actually her lover from all those years ago?
Absolutely.
But, I'm on Facebook and I look at updates from my high school classmates and I see a picture of him and I think, well, that's not that's not that person. So I can relate exactly how in somebody's mind she sees him the way he was, and it doesn't seem unusual to her at all.
And I also feel like she's, she has a bit of martyrdom in her, in that she feels that she's deserving of love. She has waited for him to come back, and when he doesn't come back, when it's someone else and it's his son and there's this connection with him, she feels like, okay, well, this is, I can love this man. This is the tension is still there, the passion is there, and I will love him because I've waited, and I'm deserving of love and happiness.
We should say the opera is above all a great big romantic piece, like many
Very
of the works
romantic.
of Samuel Barber, and the music is extremely romantic. And definitely something that people should not be afraid of if they think of contemporary opera, 1950s opera, which is contemporary in classical terms. I
think there's a lot. There's so much Puccini in it.
Yeah,
and I think if people who have never heard the opera before come into it with a Puccini mind, it won't seem so strange. It's really not. It's really not like the school of atonal music that was going on at the same time that Barber was composing this piece. Yeah. It's not anywhere near it. And we, in rehearsal, we would stop and go, oh, that's the beginning of Act 2 of Tosca. Where's that from? And
it's from Tosca.
There's so much that's in there that's very romantic, that's coming from other composers. There's leitmotifs that Wagner used. I mean, there's all these things that make it very, very interesting and not weird at all.
Well, we've been talking about the music. We're going to hear some of it in just a moment, but I want to say hello to Chrissine Amon. You said I can call you Chrissy, right?
Yes, of course.
And Amon is how you pronounce your last name. Yeah. You're singing the role of Erica, who is the niece of Vanessa.
We could say that. She's the niece of Vanessa. She's a girl of about 20. She's lived in this house presumably her whole life. And that's a pretty lonely existence for a girl. And she's also stuck in the middle between her grandmother, who won't talk to Vanessa. There's some great tension there. So she's acted as the mediator her whole life, but also I think she's spent all this time reading, because what else is there to do in the winters in this house? So she has all these big ideas about the world and what she wants from it. And but she's also consumed by Vanessa's story, you know, and so she goes through quite a journey when this man comes, and she's, she not only falls in love with him, but he also represents this whole world that is unknown to her, while he also is courting this woman who she's seen miserable her whole life. So, the first time she sees Vanessa come alive again is when this man
you
comes
both
back.
have awakenings in your own way.
Absolutely.
Now you sing, Chrissy, one of the best known melodies in the opera, Must the Winter Come So Soon. You're going to sing it for us. So before you do that, why don't you just set it up for us?
Sure. This aria, which is done by every mezzo pretty much in auditions, it's great to be able to do it in the actual show, is towards the very beginning of the opera. We've been waiting for Anatole Sr. to get there, waiting, and we've kind of resolved, maybe this isn't happening after all. And so I kind of look outside, see the snow coming down again, and Must the Winter Come So Soon. I think the winter represents for her this, like, she's a caged animal in this house, with this great tension. And so I think and expressed
so romantically as well. Again. I'll let you and Kevin, the pianist, go on back to the performance studio. We're sitting in the talking studio. They're going to go outside and walk down the hallway into the performance studio so we can hear them actually sing it as they should here in the studio. Okay, now Chrissy's gone. If you want to say anything about her, this is the time to do it.
It's a great role for her. And, Erica is, many people might be mistaken in thinking that Erica is the prime role in the opera. Mm-hmm. And certainly there are a lot of Vanessas who worry about the idea that Erica might steal their thunder because it's such a great part.
Yeah. It looks like they're ready. I'm going to bring up their microphones. I'm going to take our microphones out, and we'll listen now to Must the Winter Come So Soon. This is performed by mezzo Christine Amon, who plays the role of Erica in Toledo Opera's production of Samuel Barber's Vanessa. Kevin Bylsma at the piano here on Live from FM 91.
Must the winter come so soon? Night after night I hear the hungry deer wander weeping in the woods, and from his house of brittle bark woods the frozen all. Must the winter come so soon? In this forest neither dawn nor sunset marks the passing of the days. It is a long winter Must the winter come so soon?
Music by Samuel Barber from his opera Vanessa. The aria Must the Winter Come So Soon, performed live here in our performance studio by mezzo Christine Amon. She's performing the role of Erica in Toledo Opera's production of Samuel Barber's Vanessa. That's happening this weekend, Friday night, March 31st at 7:30 p.m., and Sunday, April 2nd at 2 o'clock p.m. This is at the Valentine Theater in downtown Toledo. Sarah Jobin is the conductor. Kristine McIntyre is the director. Christine is here with me, as well as Chrissy Amon, who we just heard singing, and Jennifer Rowley, who sings the title role of Vanessa. I just want to take a quick moment to add that those of you who enjoy opera in our community, and there's plenty of it and plenty of symphonic performances to be had, consider the fact that WGTE provides a voice for so many arts, just like we're doing right now. And if you think that's something that is worth supporting, well, we are in our fundraising drive, so we ask that you go online to the website, become a sustaining contributor to this public radio station. Easy to do, $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever you can afford. It's at WGTE.org, or you can give us a call, toll free, talk to a live operator, 866-380-4664, and thanks as always for your support. Chrissy, wonderful performance, by the way. Let me turn up your microphone there. Yeah. It's such a beautiful aria, really. And do you ever find when you're singing music like that has such a sweeping beauty to it that you kind of get a little bit lost in that character.
Yes, for sure, especially in this this moment in the opera. It's a moment for her to gather herself before all of Anatole's arrival and everything that happens to her. So it is her most kind of sweeping romantic music in the show. And
now, have you sung with Toledo Opera before?
I have not. This is my debut, but
you were in the symphony in the Messiah. I remember.
I did the Messiah last December with the Toledo Symphony, which was a wonderful experience.
Which we broadcast on TV, by the way.
Yes.
WGTE TV, and on the radio.
I have heard.
Yeah.
Yes, that's wonderful.
So you are familiar to audiences.
Yes,
so you're from Grand Rapids, right?
I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan, but I love the Toledo area. I got my master's degree at Bowling Green State University.
Oh, okay.
I was able to go back there last weekend and see their opera production of Street Scene, which was wonderful. It made me a proud alum.
I think Kevin was there too.
I think so, yes. So, yes, the Toledo area is very dear to me, and I'm just thrilled
it's great to have you
be making my debut with the opera.
And by the way, Kevin, I didn't mean to slight you. You did a wonderful job playing the piano as well.
Try to be an orchestra, Brad.
But we're going to hear from you again, so you're going to
will.
get more compliments than anybody during the course of this show. But Jen Rowley, this is a sort of a homecoming for you as well, coming back here to Ohio. You're from Ohio.
Yep.
You've been here on my program before with your fiance, Ray, and you're getting married soon.
Yeah, May 28th, we're getting married in Cleveland.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
It's very exciting and very stressful.
Everything all set? Now, this is the question. Now, before you answer that, this is the question I always ask. World-class singers when they get married. Who's singing at your wedding?
No one. I'm giving everyone the day off, including myself, so that everyone can just have a great time and party. But Kevin is playing for the ceremony, so I don't give Kevin the day off. Sorry, Kevin.
But I'm more than thrilled to come. So.
Wonderful. Well, I guess my invitation was lost in the mail.
Oh, no!
But congratulations to you and to
Thank
Ray,
you.
your fiance, on that as well. And you're flying back off to the Met, right?
I leave on Monday. Yes, I and this is going to sound absolutely bananas. On next week, I sing at Carnegie Hall on Thursday evening. I sing the Rudder Requiem with Mid-American Productions, which I'm super excited to sing with because when I was in high school, the instrumental reason that I went to college for music was being in the chorus with Mid-America Productions and going to New York and singing at Carnegie Hall. Yeah. And so now I get to be the soloist that stands in front of the high schools, and I'm so excited for that. But on the very same day, we start rehearsal for Cyrano de Bergerac at the Met, where I'm covering Pat Rosette. So I will be in rehearsal all day and then go sing at Carnegie Hall.
Now, that's the opera by Franco Alfano.
Franco Alfano.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
who
amazing.
famously completed the opera Turandot when Puccini died.
Or infamously.
It's very Puccini-esque. It's so gorgeous.
That's gorgeous.
It's like a movie score. It's so lush and
put a bug in the ear of Christine here. Next time you go out shopping operas around, you do a double bill of Vanessa and Cyrano.
Oh God, whoa. That would be a long evening.
Oh,
that would be a long evening.
Everybody leaving their hearts on the floor.
Really,
and
really,
some other
really.
things too, probably.
The Cyrano is really. I have had such an amazing time working on it, and her aria in Act 3 is just one of the most beautiful things I've ever sung. I mean, it just it for the right voice, it sits in just the right, most sweetest spot of the voice, and it just flies. It's really spectacular. I'm so lucky.
Well, I imagine he's as close to Puccini as one gets.
I think so. It's really lush. The score is. It's exciting that they're doing it again.
Well, let's get back to Vanessa right now. We're speaking with soprano Jennifer Rowley, who performs the role of Vanessa with Toledo Opera this weekend. The opera by Samuel Barber, not heard all that often, so it's a great opportunity to get out and see this wonderful opera and to hear the wonderful voices. Two of them here in the studio with me, Jennifer Rowley as well as Chrissy Amon, who's singing Erica, and Kristine McIntyre, the stage director. I wanted to ask you about this production because it's not just a traditional operatic production.
No, it's what we call semi-staged or a concert production. So
Okay.
the orchestra is actually on stage, and the chorus is on stage just sitting at the back. But it's fully staged in front, so the singers are in costume, wigs and makeup. We're using some furniture and some hand props, and then we've created an entire series of digital videos and projections that go. Literally, it's almost like watching a movie over the entire course of the evening.
That sounds like
Michael Baumgart and I have been working for months, actually, to give it the visuals that I think the piece really needs to tell the story, but also to explore this kind of really cool atmosphere that Barber creates with the orchestration.
Is this production going anywhere else then after this?
Not yet.
I'm sure it will.
Hint, hint.
It's beautiful. The projections are
It's
They're
a really
stunning.
great way of enabling us to do a lot with very little and to bring a piece that otherwise, might not get a treatment like this.
Yeah. Well, Jen, we're going to hear you sing next, but
Great.
And we've heard you talk about Vanessa, the character. But what is the part that you're going to sing for us?
So we're going to sing her first aria in Act 1. This is Vanessa's been waiting. She's laid out a dinner. She's had all the servants set everything. Everybody's dressed up. We're ready to go. We're ready for Anatol's arrival. She's, nervously waiting for him to get there. And finally, he gets there. And this is what she says to him. And the very first thing she says is, "Do not utter a word, Anatol. Do not move. I have scarcely breathed for 20 years. In stillness, in silence, I've waited for you." And the aria is, it's basically her saying, I have done all of this, and if you don't love me, I don't know what to do with myself.
Has she seen him at this
No,
point?
she refuses to look at him.
Okay. Do you think she knows somewhere that there's something going on or something?
Well, there's kind of a thing that runs through the opera where she's had, not kind of a thing, there is a thing that runs through the opera where she's had the servants cover all of the mirrors in the house. She's really afraid of her aged face, and she's afraid she's not beautiful anymore, and she's afraid that if he looks at her without still loving her, that he won't love her anymore because she's aged.
Right.
And there's really, her happiness is kind of unveiled by her decision to take the covers off of the mirrors. It's really kind of an amazing thing that, she really relies on this sense of her own beauty to woo him, and she's afraid of the fact that she doesn't have it anymore.
Right.
So she hasn't looked at him, and she's asked him not to look at her. And the way that we are playing this in the staging is fascinating because he's touching her, and Sean Panikar, who plays Anatol, comes in, and he grabs me and he holds me and he touches my hand, and there's this wonderful tension, but she won't look at him, and so we're really creating this barrier between the two, that there's a decision that needs to be made, and at the end of the aria, we find out what that decision is.
It sounds like a moment of great dramatic tension.
It is.
Which we're about to recreate here, hopefully,
Let's do
in our
it.
performance studio. So I'll let you and Kevin make the pilgrimage back to the performance studio on the other side of the glass there. Soprano Jennifer Rowley and pianist Kevin Bylsma are heading back there to sing a little snippet of Samuel Barber's Vanessa for us. Do not utter a word, Anatol. Now, Chrissy, when you walked out of the studio, I gave them a chance to say anything they wanted about you since you weren't here. So now, now, Jen, but they only said good things. Jen is out now. If you want to add your 2 cents.
It's been absolutely amazing working with Jen. She just has the most flexible, glorious voice I think I've ever been with on stage. The vulnerability she shows with the voice, and how she can come down to these really quiet pianos, pianissimos, and such a high range. I just kind of stand off stage and marvel during this aria.
We will all stand off stage and marvel right now. Soprano Jennifer Rowley and pianist Kevin Bylsma performing an excerpt from Samuel Barber's opera Vanessa, here live in our studios on Afternoon Classics.
been sure, I have always known you would come back to me, Anatole. I have scarcely breathed, so that life should not leave its trace, and that no one might change in me. Then you
Do Not Utter a Word, the first act aria of the title role of Vanessa in Samuel Barber's opera Vanessa. We heard soprano Jennifer Rowley performing live in our Dana Performance Studio along with the pianist Kevin Bylsma. Jennifer, along with my other guest today, Christine Amon, are performing Barber's Vanessa at Toledo Opera this weekend. It's Friday evening at 7:30, Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. More information at toledoopera.org. Or you can call the box office, 419-255-SING. That's 255-7464. And they're making their way back into the studio right now. But Christine, in the amount of time that we have left, we were talking while listening to the glorious performance from Jennifer Rowley about the fact that there are not that many Pulitzer Prize-winning operas out there, and it's not often that we get a chance to see one.
No, Vanessa was a huge success. Barber was actually offered a commission 10 years before he wrote this, turned it down because he didn't have a libretto, finally wrote it. It was a sold-out success the year it premiered at the Metropolitan Opera, and he won the Pulitzer Prize and a bunch of other prizes for it. They immediately made a recording. And after some initial success, the opera kind of fell out of the rep, and now it gets done in these wonderful kind of bursts of interest. And the Santa Fe Opera did it this past summer, so this is an extraordinary chance to hear what was a really significant American piece that we don't often get to hear live.
And what sounds like a really interesting production. And of course, with some wonderful singers, Jennifer, that just was wonderful to have you sing. It sounded beautiful.
Thanks.
And we look forward to that performance. And congratulations on your impending nuptials.
Thank you.
And going to New York and, taking back the stage at Carnegie Hall after having, sung there so many years ago.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you. My thanks to Jennifer Rowley. Also to Christine Amon for coming in today and singing so wonderfully for us. Thank you as well.
Thank you.
And Kevin Bylsma. Here's the part where I, give you some more compliments because you come here very often. And of course, you always. This is the thing. If they don't complain about the pianist, then that means that they were fantastic, right?
No.
So I rarely have ever
Kevin's
hear any
awesome,
complaints about you, Kevin.
Oh,
so
thanks,
I don't
Brad.
think
It's
I
always
ever
a
have.
Kevin is a gift.
Yeah.
It is a gift.
Yes.
And also our stage director, Kristine McIntyre. Thanks for coming into this afternoon. One last time, Vanessa, happening this weekend, Friday evening at 7:30 p.m., Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock p.m. It's at the Valentine Theater in downtown Toledo. Sarah Jobin is conducting. Members of the Toledo Symphony will be performing. It's a semi-staged production. We should mention there was a wonderful article in The Blade the other day, but they misprinted the ticket prices. So if you look at that and your eyes bug out, be not afeared. Those ticket prices are not quite as expensive as they listed there. You can find out more information at toledoopera.org or call the box office again at 419-255-SING, and you have to sing while you're doing it when you make that phone call. I'm Brad Cresswell, and we'll finish out this hour with a little more music of Samuel Barber, From One Strong Woman to Another. This is his Medea's Meditation and Dance of Vengeance.
I love this piece.
National Orchestra. Well, we can dance our way out to the music. Marin Alsop conducts right here on FM 91.